Mr. Roberts is attending through Zoom and is not able to participate in any votes, but he is on a Zoom call. Mr. Chubster.
Here.
And Mr. Welch. Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thompson, Superintendent Sparkley.
Yes, tonight, one of these bittersweet moments that we have to do. While we're happy for the folks, we're sad for us because we'll be missing them greatly. But we have a retirement recognition, and we'll be recognizing 3 folks this evening, and Brenda Elmore, City Valve, and Sharice Maffick. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to call up the representative that will be speaking. Well, I've got Brenda Elmore.
Yeah. Oh, this is a new configuration. Where do you want me? So it really is an honor to be able to talk about Brenda and her service to the district. When I was looking at her start date, I was in her file and I noted that she has worked in Perry for 31 years. And for 31 years, she has had above superior performance in every single one of those years. If you really think about that, 31 years dedicated to a district, and 31 years you behaved above and beyond what was expected of you in your job duties. I don't know what you could say beyond that. What an incredible legacy she leaves us. And it wasn't always easy. I know Dr. Thompson said that today in his convocation, that it's not easy, but she always stepped up. She was asked to do hard things. When her class that she loved kind of was canceled, she had moved. She stepped up and became an education associate in the classroom, and she loved those kids. She was fierce, and if they needed something, she'd sew it. She'd take care of them, and she had such a great rapport. She was meek and kind and loving, but she took care of those kids and every kid in the district. She will be greatly missed. I just loved her grace. I loved her kindness. I know the teams will miss her greatly. And I know that she is a great role model for me as when things get hard, you step up and you smile and you just do over and above. So I hope you share with me a kind farewell to Brenda Elmore. Sorry she couldn't be here tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Shields. Cindy Fox. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I will follow you.
No,
I'm just following what he said. Okay. All right. I'm here because Vicki Peters could not attend food service. So this is what she had to say. Cindy started as a sub in the food service department and in 2007 took a contracted position. As a sub, Cindy was definitely our go-to person. She knew almost every position and was always ready to come in and help. Once she became a contracted staff employee, she continued to learn positions and was completely dependable. She never minded, at least never told me she did, being moved to fill in or do a different position. She was always ready to help her fellow employees and always committed to banquets and extra functions. Cindy got along with everyone and was great with the students and staff. Cindy will be missed, but we'll certainly wish her well on her new adventures. Now, I did work with Cindy. The reason why Cindy got contracted is because I left food service and went to custodial services. So she really liked that for me. She did sub a lot with custodial services. She really was a wonderful person, very dependable. She would fill in the evenings for us. And I do know what her new adventure is, spending time with her grandchildren. And her husband's been retired for probably the last 5 years, so they're going to spend time together. And she has promised me she will come back and sub as custodian.
Excellent. We'll get some more. Yes, now you're ready, Mr. Manager.
out some props.
Oh.
So this is going to be a very non-traditional retirement spiel, but I'm going to give it a go anyways. Are you going to sing this? I'm not. My wife will sing like this in church, yeah. Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away. Wait, I'm sorry, wrong script. Our story begins in London, not so long ago, yet so much has happened since that it seems like an eternity. Actually, our story takes place in Perry, Ohio, and ends right here in this very room. We are here to recognize a true professional, beloved colleague, and a friend. Sherry Maffett. Our theme, if you haven't noticed, is very much all things Disney because Sherry, like my wife, is all things Disney. Sherry's a Disney fanatic and has spent many years producing many, many musicals. Am I correct? Am I right? Yes. In 1984, Sherry followed her dream and passion for kids into a kindergarten classroom at Garfield Elementary School in Mentor, Ohio. Now, maybe it was the winter of 1986. We're not sure about this. We have to consult with her. But Sherry then took her talents to Vero Beach, Florida. Because just like Moana, the ocean chose her. Sherry taught in a multi-age classroom and earned Teacher of the Year honors in 1988, 1998, and was a finalist for County Teacher of the Year in 1998. Sherry spent 10 years basking in the Florida sun before deciding she liked to move it, to make her home in Perry, where she was hired to teach 3rd grade at Perry Elementary School. In 2007, we were truly blessed to have Sherry join our staff at Perry Middle School, where she has given so much of her time and her talents to our students as a classroom teacher, a teacher leader, grade level chair, talent show advisor, camp counselor, archery expert, and notably co-director of our musicals for so many years. Sherry was always a consummate professional, living the words of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, that a little consideration, a little thought for others makes all the difference. Statements from her colleagues speak volumes about her character as a colleague and a friend. And here are just a few. I spent many years learning alongside one of the best language arts teachers Perry has ever known. Sherry was beyond helpful to me when I had to teach ELA in 6th grade for the first time. Who knows what the kids would have learned without me, from me, without her guidance. Sherry was not only a role model professionally for me, but she was my work mom, who I talked to about life. She has shared so much helpful advice. I will forever be grateful to her as she helped guide me through some of my darkest times. I grew so much as an educator under her guidance, and there is no greater example of a teacher who gave her all until her very last day in the classroom. And finally, she is forever my friend. Now, those are the condensed versions of what was shared. To paraphrase the great philosopher Winnie the Pooh, how lucky are we to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard? Sherry, it's truly an honor to recognize you for the impact that you've had on so many people over your career. You leave behind a legacy of former students and colleagues who are truly blessed to have been in your lives. And you've got some of them here, and you'd like to share anything.
I really enjoyed all of the musicals you put on, and I don't think I would have been in the position I am with the high school musicals if you hadn't been there to like lead me and like build me up as an actor, and not only as an actor but as a student as well.
You gave me the first like opportunity to choreograph and trusted me with your show to like help alongside you guys, and that was really like a big honor for me to be able to help you with like 3 of your shows, I think. So it was really the best.
And now you go to New York City and do it, so.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I never had you as a teacher, but from the one musical you directed in for me, you were a great director and will be greatly missed.
Great, thanks, guys. And so, in the words of Walt Disney, goodbye may seem like forever, farewell is like the end, but in our hearts is the memory, and there you will always be. Sherry Massey.
Thank you so much.
Sherry, you want to say a few words?
I'm gonna miss everything about here.
Very.
It's very. Yeah.
There's a total inside story on that.
Well, on behalf of Board of Education and all the staff of critical schools, we'd like to hope you would accept a small token of our appreciation for all your years of service and the impact that you've made on our children. So thank you so much for your work. Yes.
Thank you very much.
That concludes our spotlight on learning.
Thank you. Thank you, students, too. That was really nice of you guys to come in.
That's the best. That's the best. They were the greatest years. Putting on plays, working with all the students and learning about them in a different light. It was a thrill. It was the highlight of my career.
All set?
Short recess or
Yeah, we can take a short recess if
chance for folks to.
you guys want to leave. Stay for the meeting, you
Grill
can.
party?
We will keep the baby here.
Thank you.
Good job, you guys.
Congratulations.
Come on.
Yeah. I can be there tomorrow. I did.
Okay. Do we have any committee reports? We're back from recess. Do we have any committee reports? Sorry. Administrative updates?
Yes, well, we've got here, it's the week of opening the 2022-23 school year. And so much is going on. I think I will just direct folks to their area buildings, their administrators, to get the times of jumpstart, the times of their bus pickups, the times of their open houses. We've already had a few, and so we are in full swing. And again, I just want to, show my appreciation to the administration for all the work this summer. I think it was surprising the number of new staff that we were able to recognize today that have joined the Perry team, and they're in good hands with all of their colleagues, and it'll help them along. And we've got an addendum tonight for a few more little hires, but we're where we need to be and we're ready to go. And so rest assured to our community and to our students, we're ready and excited for them to come on in on Thursday and get learning started. Really, that's my administrative update this time.
Thank you. Do we have any public participation? Consent agenda. Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Trumpster,
Yes.
Mr. Welch. Yes. Mrs. Foley.
Yes. Superintendent's report.
Mrs. Foley, under acceptance of resignation, the board is asked to accept the resignation of the following individuals from the position listed as recommended by the local superintendent. Under B, personnel approval appointment classified. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the position indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. Under C, personnel approval of transportation staff, the board is asked to approve eligible bus drivers and substitute bus drivers for the Perry Local School District Lake County, Ohio, for the 2022-23 school year, as recommended by the local superintendent and director of transportation. To the best of the board's knowledge, meets all requirements for the school bus drivers as stated in board policy in Ohio Revised Code 3327.10. Under D, personnel approval, appointment summer curriculum hours, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individual listed to complete the 2022 summer curriculum work at the rate of pay for the maximum number of hours indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. And that was again to prepare for the new phonics programs that we began learning about today in our PD. Under E, personnel approval of appointment teacher leader, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed below for the supplemental committee position indicated for the 2022-23 school year as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. Failure to complete all assigned duties shall result in prorating and or cancellation without pay for the supplemental contract. F, approval appointment 2022-23 non-athletic supplementals. 1, the board is asked to approve the individuals listed for the 2022-23 non-athletic supplementals noted as recommended by the local superintendent and building principals. And then G, approval of appointment 22-23 non-athletic supplementals. 2, the board is asked to approve the individual listed for the 2022-23 non-athletic supplemental committee noted as recommended by the local superintendent and building principal. Under H, approval appointment 2022-23 non-athletic supplementals. 3, hourly employees. The board is asked to approve the following hourly employees for the supplemental noted at the greater rate of pay of $9.30 per hour or the amount listed as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under I, personnel approval appointment 21st Century CCLC. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the 21st Century Learning Grant positions for the rate of pay indicated as recommended by the principals, assistant superintendent, and superintendent. Funds for these positions will be paid out of federal grant funds awarded to the district as indicated and verified through timesheets. J, personnel approval appointment substitutes. The board is asked to approve the individuals noted for the 2022-23 daily substitute positions listed as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. Under K, personnel approval appointments 22-23 athletic supplementals. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the fall 2022-23 athletic supplemental position and rate of pay indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under L, personnel approval appointment 22-23 athletic volunteer. The board is asked to approve the individual listed as a volunteer for the 2022-23 fall sport noted pending successful completion of background check and certification as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. M, personnel approval of appointment student workers. The board is asked to approve the employment of the students listed for the 2022-23 position and rate of pay indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and director of communications. Total hours worked by students and staff will not exceed 700 hours. And approval of the 2022-23 substitute rates. The board is asked to adopt the updated substitute rates effective August 18, 2022 as delineated unless otherwise dictated for contract, current negotiated agreements, and to authorize the chief financial officer to pay the higher daily substitute rate for continuation of service for those substitute employees who continue working in a 12-month classification as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. And O, approval of bus routes 2022-23. The board is asked to approve the 2022-23 bus routes, which are subject to change due to forthcoming student enrollment as recommended by the local superintendent and the director of transportation services. This concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions?
I just want to note on item E, where it talks about the rate of pay on a position that says $2,000, and the traffic frequency is weekly, not paid frequency weekly.
I saw that earlier.
That was a question we had last time, and I just wanted to just make sure that was clear, because that's how it was last time.
Thank you. Anyone else? I do have a question under J under the substitutes. So are those our substitutes or are they in the system to go anywhere in the county,
Those,
region?
those are, I believe, everywhere substitutes. ESC, we found out couple years ago, they were not board approving those.
Okay.
So then we started to board approve. And we will have a separate list.
They're not coming in like they were last year.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
we may
we're-
have some
yeah.
more.
So these people listed are not just for peri-local schools. These could be people that are in the
Yeah.
system for multiple school districts.
And we're not aware of what other systems they would work for, but that's likely they are.
The classified is carried. The one person on classified, certified was a list from the ESC.
Okay,
So are these just new people, like other people that we've approved in the past are
Well-
still in the system? Or is this all we have?
This is all we have right now. Now, this list will continue to change. Again, at the end of this school year, we do a board action to prevent them from being eligible for unemployment. So we take them off our books and then we put them back on.
And we've increased the rate, the sub rate from, that's out of this, Jeff,
90 to
go from
100,
90 to 100.
Yes.
just want to make, I just was clarifying only because if we're still short sometimes, it may look like we have a surplus of subs and people available, but they're not necessarily dedicated to Perry. So I think it's
Not at all, right.
important to point that out. Okay. If there's nothing else, I think it's time for roll call.
Mrs. Truxbury?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Lady?
Yes.
Dr. Johnson, did you have an addendum?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Foley. Under personnel acceptance of resignation, the board is asked to approve the resignation of the employee noted for the position listed as recommended by the local superintendent and building principal. Under personnel approval appointment, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the position indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, training, background check, as recommended by the local superintendent. C, personnel change of position. The board is asked to accept the change of position indicated for the employees noted as recommended by the local superintendent. And D, we have a corrective action. The board is asked to approve the corrective action noted previously approved on August 2nd, 2022, as recommended by the local superintendent and director of special education, and we have an hourly pay adjustment there. Under E, personnel substitute processing, the board is asked to approve the substitute hiring process detailed below as recommended by the assistant superintendent and local superintendent. F, personnel approval of appointment substitutes, the board is asked to approve the individuals listed and noted for 2022-23 daily substitute positions listed as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. And this concludes my superintendent's addendum report.
For motion?
Second.
I have a question regarding the substitute. So the difference between the first list we just approved and this one?
This list is, Betty Jo, you go ahead.
I just got these last three
They
today.
just arrived
Okay, so it's just because they're on the addendum because it's just
since Friday.
since Friday. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else have any questions? or anything? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Lady?
Yes.
Mrs. Truxbury?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
Um, Mr. Gallant, Chief Financial Officer report.
Thank you. First item I have is acceptance of grant funds. The board is asked to accept funds in the amount of $11,400 from Skills Trainer Project Grant and approve the appropriation of such grant to be placed in the appropriate fund as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer. Item 2, contracts and agreements. The board is asked to approve the 22-23 Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve Service Agreement Addendum to add the Unique Like Me half-day program as part of the paid curriculum as recommended by Chief Financial Officer and Director of Special Education. Total cost of the program for the 22-23 school year is $11,400, and we paid from the Skills Trainer Project funds above. Contracts and agreements, Madison EMIS. The board is asked to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to enter an agreement with Madison Local Schools for EMIS training and consultation services as recommended by the local superintendent and Chief Financial Officer. They are requesting Robin help support their person over there. That concludes my regular portion of the agenda.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Chester,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Laydick.
Yes.
Do you have an addendum, Mr.
Yes, and
Lewis?
on the addendum agenda, the board is asked to authorize the chief financial officer to enter into an amended contract with Rochford Therapy Services recommended by the chief financial officer. The purpose of this addendum is to allow them to cover the OT services that we have now with the preschool, because their old contract only covered K through 12.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Laydick,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster,
Yes.
Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes,
Thank you. That concludes my business.
thank you. Any unfinished business? New business? No, unfinished.
Capital conference,
OSBA?
OSBA,
I
Yeah, same thing.
text, Andy said you'll be attending,
okay.
so that's November 13th through the 15th. Columbus.
I don't think I'll be able to make it this year.
We're trying to get accommodations, you know what it's like down there, unless you like riding the bus.
And then we have a board meeting that Tuesday, that November 15th, or are we going to move it? Maybe we'll have to consider,
Something to discuss.
I mean, how many people are down there? We've done them down there before.
yeah, unless we do it down there, we'll talk about that, but Jesse, Mark, are you guys thinking you're gonna go to the Capitol Conference?
I'm checking my work schedule, but I'd like to if I'm able to.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
that'd
let
be
you know
great. Andy's in,
the next day.
for inside.
Gina, when is that housing date? Do you know? It's before the
I
next
have
meeting,
to
isn't it?
register soon, and I think by September 12th, we have to,
But the registration is like in the next week or so, right? If you register to get hired, so if you are leaning towards going or 50-50 or so, let us know so we can at least register. We can always cancel that registration. But I want to make sure that we get the housing.
Housing. It sounds so permanent.
It's just hard to get.
Yeah, I'm planning to attend, Gina, so if something changes between now and September 12th, I will let you know. And are we looking at Sunday to Tuesday,
Yes. The program starts Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon?
I think it concludes early afternoon on Tuesday.
Look at it. Yes, yeah, just put me down as a yes.
Right, can we get the dates for
All right, so that was unfinished business, new business. Just a question, how's our enrollment looking for kindergarten?
90,
Wow.
90. But we'll have a few stragglers that'll. Yeah, so. Didn't hit the triple figure yet, but we're hoping 10 will be a lot. I don't know. Which has been consistent where we, been with enrollment. And what's our expected graduation number this year, Mr. Priscilla?
In the 140s.
Yeah, so, you graduate 140, you bring in 90.
We get some backfill too.
Yeah, sure.
Through the grades.
So it's been consistent the last few years. That's kind of been where we're at.
Correspondence and announcements. District will be closed on Monday, September 5th for Labor Day. The next work session Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 6th at 6:15 here in the Tarbuck Center Conference Room. There are no classes for students in grades pre-K through 8 on Friday, September 16th. That's the PD day for those teachers in those grade levels, but there will be high school for grades 9 through 12 that day, correct? The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 20th at 6:15 here at the Tarbuck Learning Center. And then I also just want to remind everyone, thank you for the reminder, for the bonfire this Thursday night for the community. We have a big pile of stuff that looks like we're getting ready to light on fire.
Oh,
There's a boat on top
There's
of
a boat on
it.
top of it. I mean, I don't know how much more we can pile up there, but row your boat and get over here to the bonfire. And it starts at 8, I believe.
Yeah,
8 o'clock. 8 to 10, Thursday night, be there, be square. So it's always a very fun event. I enjoy that very much. So looking forward to that. And anybody else, any other announcements? Any last comments? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Questions?
Discussion.
Mr. Welch? Yes. Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Trusteman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
See y'all later. Another quick
Thank you.
meeting.